The point-slope formula. In this example, we're going to write the equation in standard form for the line through the point and the slope given. I'll do it two different ways. The first way will be using the slope y-intercept, which is mx plus b, and then the second way will be to use the point-slope formula. So starting with the slope y-intercept, I'm just going to write the equation out first, or the formula out first, and then I'm going to plug in the values that I have. So the y value is -4, slope is 1/2, x is 3, and b is unknown. So I can use this now to figure out what b is. So -4 equals, tidy up the fraction, 3/2 plus b. To isolate b, I'm going to move the 3/2 to the left-hand side. And now b is alone. I'm going to marry my whole number and my fraction together by changing my whole number into halves. So -4 equals -8/2. Bring down my 3/2 equals b. Add my two values together, and I now know what b is. Take my b value, put it back into y equals mx plus b, and I get y equals the slope that I'm given plus b that I just found. But the question was to find the standard form for the information given. Remember that standard form is ax plus by plus c, and a, b, and c all have to be integers. The other thing you need to remember is a must be positive. So to get it to all be integers, I first must do one of two things. I can either clear the fractions and then put it in order, or put it in order and then clear the fractions. I think this time I'll put it in order first. So I will take y from the left-hand side and place it in between my x and my -11/2. It's positive on the left, so it's negative on the right. And now I have put it in the correct order. To clear the fractions, I find my common denominator. In this case, that's 2. Multiply every term by 2. And that will clear all the fractions out. You can do this step mentally if you're really strong at math. The 2's will cancel out in both cases, and I'll get x minus 2y minus 11. And so now I have my equation in standard form with the information given. I'd like now to show you how to do exactly the same thing using the point-slope formula. Point-slope formula is the change of y equaling slope times the change of x. So in this case, I can go a more direct way to both equations. So y minus my y value of -4 equals slope of 1/2, x minus my x value given of 3. So I'm just pulling the information from above here in the question. Tidy it up first. And the question asks us to go to standard form. So I'm going to clear my fractions first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, or every term by 2. And notice that I'm putting my brackets in front of the half. And remember that this is all one term, so I'm multiplying both sides by the same value. I'm going to distribute on the left-hand side and clear the fractions on the right. So this becomes 2y plus 8 equals x minus 3. And now I need standard form, so I can zero out the left-hand side, remembering that x has to be positive. Put y in the middle, -3, bring the 8 across, -8. So I'm taking both of these and putting it on the right-hand side, and the signs then switch. The only thing left to do now is to do -3 minus 8, which is -11. So you can see that using point slope formula is a much more direct way to get to where you want to go. If the question asks you to also give it to you in y equals mx plus b form, going from standard form to y equals mx plus b means you have to isolate y. So if I take y and put it back on the left-hand side, it becomes positive. I need y isolated, so I divide by whatever is in front of it, in this case a 2. And I will get y equals, that cancels out, 1/2 x minus 11/2. Remember, there's always a 1 in front of a variable, which is why I can pull out 1/2. And now we have our two y equals mx plus b's exactly the same, and our two standard forms are exactly the same. The point slope formula is just a more direct way to get to both of those equations. I now have 3 examples of how to use the point slope formula. I'm going to start simply by writing it down. So it's the change of y, slope times the change of x. And then I'm going to substitute in the values I know. I know that my y value given is -8. I know slope is 5. And my x value is 7. I'm going to tidy up on the left. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to distribute as I go all in one step here. So 5x minus 35. Since I want both formats, mx plus b and standard form, I have a decision to make. I can go either way at this case. I'm going to decide to go to standard form first. So I'm going to zero out my left-hand side. Standard form is ax plus by plus c. And a has to be positive, which is why I'm moving everything to the right-hand side, because my 5x is already positive. Y becomes negative when I bring it across the equal sign. Bring down the 35, move the 8 across. Just tidy up the end. -35 minus 8 is -43. So that's standard form, which again is ax plus by plus c. Now to get to mx plus b format, I'm going to rewrite my standard form. And all I have to do in this case is take y over to the left, and I've accomplished the task. I could have, if I had chosen to, at this point, gone over to y equals mx plus b, and then gone from y equals mx plus b to standard. It really is what you decide to do at a certain point along the journey. My second example has a slope of -0.5 and passes through -2, 4. I'm going to start by writing my point slope formula. And then I'm going to sub in. So y is 4. My slope is -0.5. And x is -2. I'm going to tidy up the right-hand side. And again, I'm going to go to standard form first, which means I'm going to clear my fraction. So I'm going to multiply the left-hand side by 2 and the right-hand side by 2. remembering that this whole sequence of numbers and variables is one term. So I'm multiplying the whole thing by 2. My 2's will cancel out, and I'll expand on the right-hand side, sorry, the left-hand side, actually, and expand on the right as well. So 2y minus 8 equals negative x minus 2. My next task is to move everything from the right-hand side to the left, because in this case, my x is negative. And to go to standard form, it has to be a positive value. So x goes to the left, 2y goes next to it, bring down the negative 8, move the negative 2 across, it becomes positive. My standard form now becomes x plus 2y equals 6. X plus 2y minus 6 equals 0. So now to get to mx plus b format, I'm just going to rewrite it so you can see. So there's standard form. Mx plus b means I have to isolate y, so I'll do that on the left-hand side. I'll push the x across and push the x across, the sign switch. Divide by 2 to isolate y, and I get y equals negative x over 2 plus 3. And again, I'm going to make the point that there's an invisible 1 in front of the x. So I could leave it the way I wrote it, or a more traditional way, so that you can see slope right away, would be negative 1/2 x plus 3. And now I have accomplished the task. I've got it in standard form and in mx plus b format. Last example. And here's my last example. In this case, we have 2 coordinates. We no longer have a point and a slope. With 2 coordinates, you can find slope. So slope is the change of y, so that's negative 3 minus negative 16 all over negative 2 minus 7. I'm going to go across the screen for spacing, so that becomes negative 3 plus 16 over negative 9, which is 13 over negative 9. And I like my negative signs either in front or up top. So I'll put it in front. The point slope formula only needs 1 coordinate with its slope. So I'm going to do it 2 ways. I'll do it in green with this coordinate, and then in purple with the other. So with the green coordinate, I'm going to start with the point slope formula, which is the change of y equals slope times the change of x. Plug in what I know, y minus negative 16. Be careful when you're substituting in negative values. Putting them in brackets is very, very useful. And now we get our slope of negative 13 over 9, and then x minus 7. I'm going to tidy it up before I do much else. So the double negative becomes a positive, and I'm not going to touch the right-hand side yet. So I think at this point, I'm going to clear my fractions to make life easier for myself. So I'm going to multiply everybody by 9. So 9 on the left-hand side, and then 9 on the right. My fraction now goes away, and I'm going to now expand on the left, and expand using negative 13 on the right. So 9y plus 9 times 16, so that's 90, and 9 times 6 is 54, so that's 144, equals negative 13x, and 13 times 7, so that's 70, and 21, so that is 91. I'm going to go to standard form first, so I'll bring my negative x value across. It becomes positive. Y goes in the middle, plus the 144. The 91, when brought across, becomes negative, and that all equals 0. So quick mental math says that 144 minus 91, so I've got 44 plus 9, which will give me 53. And that now equals 0. So that's my equation in standard form. To get to y equals mx plus b, isolate y, and you can do this on the right or left, doesn't matter. Divide everybody by 9. You're going to get y equals negative 13 over 9x minus 53 over 9. Now, using the other coordinate, we should get the same answer. So I'm going to start with the formula and plug in the numbers that I have. So in this case, I'm going to use the second coordinate. So y minus negative 3 equals my slope of negative 13 over 9, x minus negative 2. Tidied up, this will give me y plus 3, negative 13 ninths, x plus 2. Just like in the other case, I'm going to multiply through by 9 to clear my fraction. So both sides get exactly the same treatment. The 9s will cancel out. And I'm left with 9y plus 27 equals, I need to distribute both times. And so this will be, lost a bit of my 13 there. So this will be negative 13x, negative 26. Being consistent, I'll go to standard form first. So the 13 comes across and becomes positive. The 9y goes in the middle. Bring down the 27. The 26 now becomes a positive value, and that equals 0. So 13x plus 9y plus 53 equals 0. Now let's see if we've done it correctly. And our two results are identical. So what I'm trying to prove there is that it doesn't matter which coordinate you use to find your equations. I don't think I need to show you how to get from the equation in purple to y equals mx plus b in blue again, because it's the same equation and we're going to the same place. So hopefully that was useful, and thank you for listening.